Are we on? We're good? Yes, sir. All right. Okay. Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Glad you could join me here today, as always. And we have 5 guests here tonight, all family members, all members of the Daniels family. And before we begin, we'll have everybody introduce themselves.
I'm Henry. I'm 18 years old. I'm Mark. I'm 21 years old.
I'm Frank. I'm 16.
I'm Pauline. I'm 14.
I'm Claude. I'm 19.
And I'm Mark. I'm 61, the father of these kids. And tonight we're talking about loyalty. Before we begin, smash that like button and subscribe. We have a live podcast every Saturday night at 7 o'clock. And I'm going to plug my books while I'm here. Check out this one, Coming Back Home, The True Adventure of Me, Mark Daniels, available on Amazon. It's a good book, very inspirational. You'll learn a lot from this. That's why I wrote it. And my second book, The Power is Within. I know this one will be of value to you. It's also available on Amazon. And I have a third book I'm writing right now, but I'm not going to tell you what that's about. We will get into that later. As I said, tonight's topic is loyalty. So let me see. What does it say loyalty is in the definition on Webster's? It says, the quality of being loyal. That's pretty simple, isn't it? I was kind of surprised because I thought loyalty meant faithfulness, but that's not really what it means. It says a strong feeling of support or allegiance. Fights with in-laws, distressing. Okay, so loyalty, how do I say, covers many different things. Here it says, what is the meaning of loyalty? When you Google the word loyal, the definition is giving or showing firm and constant support or allegiance to a person or institution. Loyalty is generally having their best interest at heart and ensuring that relationship is reciprocal. Now, when I think of loyalty in a relationship, I thought of it as fidelity, I guess would be the word I'd use, where there's no other partners. The man is loyal. He doesn't have any other women. He's not with any other women. And the woman is loyal. She's only with that man. They are monogamous with each other. But actually, that definition doesn't have anything to do with that whatsoever. It just says that you are genuinely concerned about that person and take care of them, and you're interested in them and their welfare. So loyalty in that definition doesn't quite consist of what I thought it was before I actually read the definition. So what is your idea of loyalty, Henry? What does that mean to you when someone says loyalty?
For me, it's more like, I don't know, having my back, being there if I need something, or if someone's talking down on me, talking bad about me, someone's going to back it up and be like, that's not the type of person Henry is. So that's what it is for me.
Somebody who stands up for you when you're not around.
Yep.
Mark?
Yeah, it's interesting that you're wanting to ask if it's what our idea of loyalty is, because I was thinking just a second ago, I do think that everybody has their own kind of idea of what it is. But for me, I guess it's really kind of having my back, making sure that I'm okay, as long, just us making sure that we're both okay, whether it's me and my brother, whether it's me and you, whether it's me and a partner or whatnot. But it's probably just really, to put it down in simple terms, is making sure you're having my back. And I guess in a relationship standpoint is, no other partners on your end. And
that's everything. The way I always thought of it, but actually it doesn't say anything about that.
No, and that's really, when you read the definition, I'm like, is that it? Because I thought it was really, I really thought it was going to come up.
Same here. I was surprised today when I read it. I'm like, it doesn't say anything about what I thought it really meant.
But then you got to think about it. That also has been really just kind of implied into relationships, really. So exactly. Immediately it's kind of like, it was never really, loyalty, the word itself wasn't ever really made for love, I guess, if you want to say.
It was more of a thing between men.
Yeah,
if
so.
you look up in history, the loyalty was more of a thing between men.
Yeah,
loyal to your country, loyal to your brother, to your friend.
To your friend, exactly.
To your comrade in arms or whatever that happened to be.
So I guess really my definition is having my back and making sure that I'm cool, I'm okay, and whatever way that may be, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's an important, I think an important trait among friends. Frank, what do you think of when you think of loyalty?
Well, I always thought it was for girls, you know what I mean? Like when a girl is loyal to you.
I might have passed that on to you.
Yeah. But I don't, I'd go with Henry's answer because I don't really have anything other to add to that.
Okay. Paulina,
I think
here we
I-
get a girl. We need, if any of you girls want to come and be on this show, if you're 18 or older, we'd love to have you because Paulina has been our only girl here. It's kind of tough for
I'm
her.
not good enough.
She would like some help.
Yeah.
I also go with Henry's answer. It's about like if a girl had my back, and like I know girls come up to me and tell me like, oh, they were talking about you, and I'm like, how'd you know? And they'd be like, because I was there listening to them. It's like, okay, but did you didn't say anything, you didn't have my back. I would want a girl to have my back, and I also think it relates to a guy not cheating on me and me not cheating on him.
Right.
So mainly Henry's answer.
Claude?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Like with Henry had the best answer out of all of us.
I did. No,
And but it's also someone that's there for you through like moral support, whether you're going through ups and downs. You know, they're there for
Yeah.
you.
Just there was another thing that I was gonna add to that too. Oh, and just being honest. You know, like no matter the situation, I think loyalty has everything has to do with. If there's no honesty, there's no loyalty at all, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, you could if that's the main thing. You know, if you're sitting there lying to my face, is that really a loyal move? You know, just because
Yeah.
you haven't backstabbed me, technically you're doing it right to my face. So
Right.
I guess being honest is a really big part of how I perceive loyalty. You know.
Well, I think about loyalty, I think about allegiance because we used to pledge allegiance to the flag. I guess you still do that?
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
they did it till I got out of
I've
high
often
school.
thought about the people that come from other countries, and I thought about actually during World War II with the Germany, and then we have people here that come from all different countries. If there was a war between their country, where would their loyalty lie? That would be hard for them because, I mean, they have family over there and they're actually from there, and they come here. And are they loyal to our country? Do they become American citizens, or do they go back? Or during World War II, they put the Japanese in jail because we were at war with Japan, and many people didn't think that was right. But I mean, I understand why they did it. So it's kind of a that would be a difficult situation there.
I guess-
don't know how we would deal with that.
I guess it would really depend on the situation, how the country is. You know, for example, I mean, if just an example, if we went to war with Guatemala, we came up here, you brought us up here for a better opportunity. So really, what I know that we are, we grew up there, and it was like I still consider it somewhat kind of home because of how much happened. But why would I fight, sort of for a place where I don't have as much an opportunity as I do here? Yeah, it's technically my home, to a degree, but you're thinking about if you're in a better place, you know what I'm saying? If you're like, for example, here in the United States from a third world country, you're probably going to be loyal to the country that's taking better care of you, you know?
I would think so. Well, and then Paulina and Frank and Kevin, they're dual citizens of this country. Did you know that? You act like you don't know that.
No, I knew
You have
that.
dual citizenship. You were born in Guatemala, but you're an American citizen because I'm your father. So you actually are dual citizens here. But I think of loyalty more in relationships, how that portrays. What do you consider being loyal in a relationship? Is it loyalty if a man and a woman are dating and the woman is on social media getting all this validation from other men? Is that disloyal, or is that faithful, or is that unfaithful? Many people have online relationships, and they assume or they think that, well, they're not physically doing anything with these women or men, whichever it happens to be, that they're being loyal because they haven't physically acted on their desires.
I mean, yeah, that's a valid point simply because you got to think about it like this. Nowadays, one of the stages that people like to do when they're talking, they'll send each other certain pictures, do whatever, send videos of whatever to each other, whether it be explicit videos or whatnot. But,
That's a common thing we didn't have in my day.
Yeah, so now people do that quite a bit. So you got to think about it like this, okay? So if that's a new thing, with us younger people, what's the difference, between that and you just going and posting it online? I guess really it's sort of like, it's not, depending on the situation now. I mean, if it's sort of like, if that's how I met her, if that's already what she was doing whenever we met, and then, that's kind of, she's making sort of money off of it or whatever, bringing
Yeah,
something
if
to
it's
the
a
table.
business, that's
if it's a
different
business,
than
that's
just getting validation for your ego.
exactly. But if it's something just like that you're doing because you like, you're going out looking for guys to talk to you. That's
Yeah.
but the same thing as if you went and talked to a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
So you're putting yourself in a situation to where men and different guys can come up and approach you and talk to you,
Exactly.
and really, and it's in a really invalidating way. You know what I mean? Like, it's just sort of like you're only going to get the lustful attention. You're not going to get I guess if they're expecting the love out of it that they're getting from their boyfriend at the time or something like that. I'm not really sure.
Well, it's
but
a superficial
Yeah,
fix is basically what it is. But there's a lot of there's a certain chemical rush they get from that.
Yeah.
People, men and women, when
Yeah.
they get messages or when they get likes or different things like that, people become somewhat addicted.
Yeah,
to it.
from what I've noticed is like if I was with a girl and she was posting pictures of her, half nude or whatever it happens to be, and there was guys commenting, and sometimes what I've seen is girls like the comments. That, in my personal opinion, is being disloyal.
Well, in a sense, that's a relationship. Even if you're not having conversations, you're communicating back and forth your feelings.
Yeah.
If they're commenting on the girl's photo about, oh, you look beautiful or whatever, and then she's liking that, then they're portraying their feelings to an emotional connection there. However slight it may be, it's still an emotional
Yeah,
connection.
and-
Frank, how do you feel about that? If you were going out with a girl and one of your girlfriends, and she was, you were going steady with her, let's say, as they call it, and she was posting bikini shots of herself on the, and not putting you on her Instagram. What would you
Wow.
think about that?
I wouldn't like it, like at all. I mean, especially if like somebody commented. Usually they'll comment back and be like, "Oh, thank you." Like,
Well, then the girl's argument is this, because I've been on the other end of that before I realized what this Instagram and all that was, is, well, I don't really talk to him. I just put hearts and put all this stuff, and it doesn't really mean anything. But it actually does mean something because they're getting validation out of it. They get a certain chemical reaction out of those likes.
Yeah,
And because
and-
they don't get too many likes, I've heard them complain about, well, my followers dropped, or I want more followers, I want this. And
It's like they have a relationship with their Instagram.
exactly.
more than
That's
That's
phone
like-
is their best friend.
Yeah, literally, it's like
and that
another-
also runs into something too. I mean, a lot of girls, and maybe there's guys like that too, but I think it's more women. If you made them choose between their phone and you, many would choose their phone.
Yeah.
yeah, and then
I mean,
like
what the hell's up with that?
sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, it's fine. Like they just wish they could have me, even though you
and you,
have."
and you have me,
It's
yeah,
like,
and you have me.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
But yeah, if she's going with you and she's in love with you, why is she advertising herself as a single? And many times you'll see these girls. There's always the girls. They're here. They're traveling. They're doing this, but you never see a guy. in
Do,
the
yeah,
picture.
but I mean, let's get real. I mean, for the most part, there's always somebody.
Oh,
back
there's a
there.
guy, but
Yeah.
he's not put on there. So
Yeah.
I don't think, at least from my experience, if the woman really loves you as she says she does, she's going to be posting you on there. At least let everybody know that you're her boyfriend. And if she isn't, then she doesn't have the attraction level high enough that you really need to value that relationship too much.
Yeah.
My advice would be to walk away.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, really, the only time I think I'd be okay with not necessarily being posted or anything, I guess, if you want to say, is if like there's nothing, if she's not advertising herself as she's single. You know, if she's kind of, if the pictures are, nice pictures just on a day-to-day basis, that's fine. Because I know some girls that don't even really need to even post a picture of themselves like that in any way, shape, or form. And sometimes they end up getting that same attention. But I've noticed that those girls, and for the most part, most guys won't even comment underneath the pictures anymore much. They'll just DM the female.
Yeah.
So once they do that, for the most part, those girls that you don't even need to post anything like that in order to get that kind of attention, they don't even open the message. I mean, they even go as far as to delete it because they don't even want to see it, So really, I guess, and even then, at that point, it's like, and it's not even really about, I guess, and if she didn't have social media, I wouldn't really care either, that because she ain't got social media to post me on anyway. So that would be, but that's really on like very uncommon grounds,
But I see we get back to the loyalty. Where does the fine line of loyalty lie there? Just because she's not physically, or he is not physically having something. What do you think about that, Paulina? You got guys talking to you on social media. What if your boyfriend had some kind of a message where you had a girl was sending him messages and he was liking the messages, or he would say, "Oh, thank you," or "good morning," or whatever, and this girl was kind of good looking, and maybe you felt a little threatened by that. How would you like that if he was communicating on a weekly basis, a couple times, 2 or 3 times a week with some really hot looking girl. How would you feel about that?
I wouldn't like it at all. Like, it makes me mad. Like, usually on my post, some people will just DM me, but I have had people, like, comment on it and be like, hey, you're cute, or like, hey, you should DM me or something. I never like them. I actually don't respond to them. The only time I ever respond to a message that a guy comments on my page is yours, because you'll usually comment something and I'll just like it, or I'll
I'm
say,
sarcastic.
yeah, and then I'll say something back. But if my boyfriend was doing that, I would not like it at all whatsoever.
Yeah, but so many people say, well, the girls will say, well, it's not nothing, doesn't mean anything, but it does mean something to them, because when they, like you said, you don't comment back
If it
or
didn't
like.
mean anything, they wouldn't like it.
Yeah,
They would ignore
exactly.
it.
They wouldn't, they wouldn't want
the
more.
fact. Yeah, they would
They
ignore
communicate with it to build up their following, because to me, it looks, what I see that with a lot of women or girls is that's almost like a dating app.
Yeah,
They get validation and so, but then what we started this about is loyalty. Is that being loyal to your boyfriend or girlfriend if you have these online, however superficial relationship you have on Instagram or Facebook or whatever app, Snapchat or whatever it happens to be? Do you consider that being loyal, Claude? How would you feel about that if your girlfriend was, doing this? Let's say she had 10,000, 20,000 followers, and every day she's sending hearts and kisses these people who are telling her how beautiful she is and liking her photos. And
Thank you.
She's posting half nudes and butt pictures and twerking or something.
Twerking it on the Instagram.
Well, maybe not twerking, but that's
I mean, she's probably twerking.
some do. But we'll back off a little bit.
Honestly, I probably wouldn't let her do that, because of the fact that to them it's just a photo, or to them it's just a comment, but to you it's not just a comment. I mean, if she's your woman, she shouldn't be showing everybody like what she looks like. What
Exactly. A man's number one emotional need is for his woman to put their relationship above everything. Now, most women don't know that, but that's an emotional need for a man, for the woman to put the relationship first and foremost. And a lot of women don't want to do that. And a lot of women would call this control. Oh, you're insecure. You want to control. No, men are territorial.
Yeah.
They want to know that their woman is safe. She's not being hit on by every guy in the world. But I mean, a guy that's stable and secure, he doesn't mind if his girl gets hit on. But in this case, the woman is actually looking for a validation.
Yeah.
She's looking for flirtation.
Yeah.
She's actually asking for it by posting certain photos and never posting your boyfriend on there, which is you or whoever it is.
Yeah,
So,
to me it's like, okay, if I think you look good, that should obviously be enough validation for you. I don't know why I don't know why you need all these guys.
exactly.
Oh, you look so good, this and that, because they're not just commenting because they think you look good. They want something.
They
more.
want
Yeah.
some more.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
they-
like, you take it from someone who's like done it before. You know what I'm saying? You know how you thinking.
Yeah.
So we're not dumb.
It's like if a man's posting like a comment and stuff, obviously, if we were to switch the roles and I was the one commenting, we're both looking for something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, you're not just
Yeah.
not just commenting like, oh,
She
you
may
look so
just be
good.
looking for validation, but you're looking for something more.
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're a guy that's into guys, that's a little different. you
Yeah.
know, but like most of the time, it's guys never. Like, guys never.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
never say it.
Exactly. And really, that's the thing. Like, like he said, for the most part, they'll argue and say, "I don't do this for validation at all."
Yeah. And you're insecure.
You're insecure.
What's the other one? You're insecure. There's another one.
Controlling.
Controlling, yeah,
That's what they always try.
controlling, yeah.
You're controlling her. Who hurt you?
Who hurt you?
You need to trust me.
Yeah.
But see, it's a fact that most women, before they break up with a guy, they always got guys sitting in the wings, orbiters they call
Yeah.
them. So now, how loyal is that? If they're, if they got these guys sitting in the wings, it's like they keep something going with them. If not, just say hi to them once in a while or keep a relationship, just in case things don't work out between you two.
Hey, you
so
might as
when
well.
she does that, she's not all in. So if you're all in and she's not all in, and they do that for, I think, evolutionary purposes, because for thousands of years, if they didn't have some guy and the man they were with died or left them, they would not survive, nor would their children
Yeah.
survive. So you're not going to change something overnight that's taken thousands of years to progress into the let's say the lizard brain of people.
Yeah,
it's just the way it is.
Yeah, and really, it's like simple. For the most part, if you like you say, you know, this dude's, for the most part, girls will, you know, say like, oh no, it's a guy or something texting her every day, every time she posts a picture or something, every day, and then she's like, oh no, I don't ever say anything back, or I just open it and stuff like that. It's like, okay, would you like someone to do that to me? It's like, what would you think about, like, if let's switch roles real quick. But it's like, oh no, it's different. It's different.
He's just a friend. I wouldn't do anything with him.
He's just a friend.
But see, here's the deal: women and men can't be friends. Because I'll tell you what, if she called him up, my daughter's over there having a fit. If she called him and said, "Honey, would you come over and have sex with me tonight?" The guy'd be there. Like,
boom.
Yeah.
So are they friends, or he wants to be lovers?
He wants to be.
She may put him in the friend zone, but he's just waiting for the day when she says, "You know what? All these other guys treat me so bad, but you've always been so good to me." The day that never comes.
Yeah.
And she's gonna call him up, and he's gonna run over there on his white horse, and do the
Save
deal.
her,
Yeah,
do
that's the thing.
deal.
I mean, anytime I catch myself, doing my thing, it's really because I wanna, whether I wanna be lovers or whatever, like you said, guys and girls can't be friends. I mean, I've hung around some girls, but at the end of the night,
I've had girls that had boyfriends when I was younger, and they would go out with their boyfriends and come over and sleep with me and talk about their boyfriends with me while I'm in bed with them. And I'm sure that they told their boyfriend that we were just friends. I mean,
best friends, exactly.
she was just a friend to me, but I mean, she was a lover too.
I mean,
so.
really, like not that long ago. I mean, there was kind of a fuss about it. I posted it on my Snapchat, but I texted this girl. I was like, "What's up?" And she goes, "Oh, he's sleeping right. Or wait till he goes to sleep, and I'm gonna text you back in an hour." And then, like an hour late, like not even 2 hours later, we were hanging out. So
you got the provider and the Chad here. So
Yeah.
just waiting to go get with the Chad. But now, would you consider? See, now I would consider that the first word is disloyal. She's being disloyal or unloyal to her lover or boyfriend.
yeah, I mean,
think.
straight up.
I mean,
That was what she was
but
doing.
but then still that starts somewhere too. Like in today's world of social media, the disloyalty starts with the messaging and the friendship. Or I was just talking. We're just friends. Many women think they can go out to lunch with guys and they're just friends, but more than likely these guys would have sex with them if they had the opportunity.
Yeah.
These are arbiters, and that's why. I mean, I understand what they mean by being friends, but I was friends with a lot of girls when I was 13 or 14 years old. But I guarantee, and I actually ended up sleeping with one, and she ended up being my girlfriend for 5 years. She was older, but the point is, I would have jumped in the sack with any of those girls. But I would have told you they were my friends, and I did. But I was not. And I remember one particularly who I really thought a lot of, got a boyfriend, and then I couldn't even talk to her anymore because he didn't allow that. Kind of pissed me off at the time, but looking back in retrospect, that's what should have been. She should not have been talking to any guys.
Exactly. And for the most part, I've had that happen quite a bit. The boyfriend will be like, no, like out of nowhere, I'll try to go message him, blocked. I'm like, oh, I guess he caught on or something, So it's like, I don't even get mad because, I do the same thing. If I caught her even really, honestly, really for me, if I catch her even replying back to that message, it's done deal. I mean, I don't need someone who's gonna reply to every single message of little validation that she's gonna
But
get.
see what happens if they don't, then their validation start
dropping.
They start dropping. They do that to keep that up because there's a certain psychological fix they get out.
And the
of
thing
that.
is, like how you were talking about how if a guy and a girl go to dinner, no guy's gonna take a woman out to dinner and not expecting an
Exactly,
turn.
and that's the main turn. You see a lot of the memes in social media right now. With that, they'll be looking at the bill and it says split or pay for full. It's like, so am I getting something tonight? I'm like, no, split. And then a lot of women are getting mad at that, but it's kind of like, it's just sort of like I guess. I don't know, really a social construct or something like that. But I mean, really just kind of going back to the loyalty, there's, especially with social media, that's like a fine line that still people walk on all the time because, for me, if she's seen me commenting on a girl's pictures, hard eyes or something, she's going to get mad. But when a guy does it to you and you're answering to them, it's not wrong, right? But we're just friends.
It's become so commonplace. What do you think about all that, Henry?
Well, personally, I was thinking about how on Instagram, a lot of girls will comment on a guy who's got a lot of followers or something, and they'll be like, "Oh, you're so hot" or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I don't know a lot about.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just like they're like, "Well, he's never gonna see it. He's got so many followers, blah, this and that." But then if the same guy, is in the relationship with a girl, if he comments on a girl who's a model, it's like, oh, you look good or something like that. They get jealous.
Yeah, true.
But what's the difference though? Because of the fact that they have a lot of followers, like you said, they're never going to see it, or if they do see it, they might not even answer to it.
Yeah.
But either way, it's not being loyal. You're not saying, if you're commenting on somebody else's stuff, if they're not, even if they don't see it, that's still being.
Well, it's flirting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, when you comment on that, you're also trying to see like, well, maybe if they'll hit me back up, maybe they'll text me,
Yeah.
But what were you gonna say, Frank?
It's like a girl having a celebrity
Crush.
crush.
Exactly.
That's the
You
point
should
where
be
it's
her
like
celebrity. If
yeah,
you're her
I should
boyfriend, you should be her
be- yeah,
celebrity.
Like I should be the only crush she has. And like I had, a girl that had that boy best friend thing, and I did not like it at all. And she told me she blocked them, but it didn't happen. I ended up catching on, and then she's like, "Well, you shouldn't be worried about it. I'm in love with you." And then like,
Yeah, talk is cheap. Always watch what a girl
yeah,
does,
like
her
6 months
actions.
later, we're still dating, and then like she's not home when I come over, and she's like, "Oh, I was just hanging out with him. It's not a big deal. We're just best friends."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, another thing too with the celebrity crush stuff is a lot of guys they have this thing with a female. It's like they have one celebrity that they would let their girlfriend cheat on them with.
Yeah.
You ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
That's
heard that.
like-
That's weak. I think that's weak.
Yeah,
low.
and that's the thing. Is it's like some girls will ask a guy, it's like, "What's one celebrity you'd let me cheat on you with," or something like that.
Oh.
And
Well,
that's
I dated a girl, and you guys know, and it came down to it was either Instagram or me, and I broke up with her because she wouldn't put me on her Instagram. I'm like, what the hell is that? What? She tried to play it off like it was kind of a business. She wanted to make money at it. She wasn't making any money at it yet, but she wouldn't put me on there. But yet, I knew she had a picture taken of her with this famous bodybuilder type guy, and I think she posted. Well, I know she posted some of her friends on there. I think that's why I ended up breaking up with her because it's like you're gonna put your friends on there, but you won't put me on there, and it's like that's just, to me that's BS. for lack
Yeah.
of
Oh,
a
it
better
really
word.
is. I mean, really, and
That was the beginning of the end there.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you got to think about it now too. Now that you're gaining this huge following and everything, you might tend to see that person come up again. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
whether it's on they message you or something, like she messages you or something on
There's
on
just so many
Instagram.
people out there, women out there, that have no idea how to treat a man because a lot of them were not raised up with a father in the house, a father and a mother where they could see the interaction. So they have no idea what it takes to satisfy a man or to please a man. They think they can go do all these things because we have so many simps out there
Yeah.
and weak men who will just allow a woman to walk all over them and allow the woman to lead. So these women get used to leading men, and they don't like it. They'll do it, but they don't respect those men at all. So
Yeah.
every man they get with, they try to lead, and then they
Yeah.
run onto a guy that is not used to that, like me. And I had to say that the relationship I had, it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Just constantly trying to keep her from trying to run the show. It was just amazing. So it
Yeah.
just doesn't work.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. They get their ego fed up more and more
Sure,
every
but
day.
with this validation, these likes, and all
Yeah.
these things on social media. Because now it's like a world market. I mean, you could get some rapper. She posts her photos on there and looking good, and some rapper from California fly her out there, and
Yeah.
Exactly.
or from another side of the world, from Latin America or over in Asia or whatever. It happens.
And that's the thing about it too, like a lot of, sometimes I've heard a lot of people get into breakups and everything like that, and then after they broke up or whatnot, they got into it about I don't know, like sort of like, oh well, I can have anybody I want. They'll say that it's like, okay, that's fine, but you can have anybody you want, but who is going to actually give you what you need? Who's going to actually give you what you deep down inside actually desire? Go ahead, you can have anybody you want. That's just fine. But really, it's and along with that too, on the social media and being unloyal, it's really bad, like mental hygiene, I guess, to let everybody have access to you like that. It's really, if you just letting everybody have access to you like that, it destroys you mentally as a woman. It really does, and I've seen it happen. It's
It
it's
gets a
sad,
big
but-
head. We call it the big
exactly.
head. The ego gets pumped up there, and they think, like you said, they think they can have anybody they want, and they may be able to be with them, but those people aren't going to take care of them and love them. It's just, it's a temper. And then they get older, and then so Then they wonder where all the good men went to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, they're being disloyal. They're being loyal to themselves, not being loyal to the man that's taking care of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then some girls the thing I noticed that was like funny to me was when she's like, "Oh, but he's there for me." But also I'm here too. What's
yeah.
the difference?
But that's the thing. The like I guess technically the simp is always gonna be there for her. You know, like I'm telling you, some of these guys like will fly around like vultures around. You know, will fly around like vultures around your relationship,
Right.
waiting
Yeah,
for
they're
it to
waiting
end.
for it to die.
To die, yeah. But once it
They
once
start
it,
to smell the death.
yeah, and then really one of the most famous ones.
I'm here for you, baby.
Yeah, I'm here for you. What did he do? What did he do this time?
Oh,
and
man,
then,
yeah.
They're
I could treat you so much
emotional-
better.
Emotional tampons.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would never do such a thing. You know, so
Oh, wow.
and
He's,
really-
he's so
treat you like
insecure.
that.
yeah, and they'll try to take the other guy down, like be like, oh, I would never do that. You know, that's really, really an insecure thing to do.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I mean, like, not
See,
really.
the thing
but-
is that, like, for example, there are some insecure men that'll make you that, like, if you're talking to a girl, they'll be like, oh, delete him off of your Snapchat or delete his number, this and that. But the thing is that, I mean, I can't say I would do the same. I can understand that, but for me, it's like, okay, you can just leave him on open, and if he keeps texting you, unadd him because you don't need to be talking to
exactly.
him. You got me to.
Well,
talk
yeah,
to
that's the
him.
thing. For example, when I was in this relationship with one girl I'd been going with for a while, there was this one guy who hit on her at work, and she kept ignoring him, but he kept hitting her up. It's like, what's the point? Like she's getting validation from this guy, even though she's with me. So I ended up just telling her, just block him, unadd him. What's the why do you need him adding you or talking to you or whatever happens to be?
So really, I guess really you just got to make sure that we're having a little technical
That's me.
difficulties.
I'm doing this. I'm responsible.
No, but
Trying to shut the sound off. I'm having trouble doing it.
It's one of the buttons right there.
I got it.
But no, I mean really that's a thing too. Like, and really that's another thing as well. Is really just where, depending on where they work, there's a big joke, like that, like
Oh, yeah.
So while your girlfriend is at work, like the dudes there are poking her sides, like, hey, like what's up, going up play fighting with her or whatever at work, and it's like that's what they call, like they'll call her work husband or whatnot, because it's pretty much like her little boyfriend, what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
work.
Like she'll go there and just get as much validation, but not as genuine or as important validation as if it's coming from you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's just as disloyal too. Is it's like if you flirt with other guys where you're at work, or if they're flirting with you and you're just like, you're laughing with them or whatever. Like that's
Well, you're acting. The girl
Yeah.
is acting available.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Maybe she's down to do something.
Exactly. And really just recently, like I had a kind of an issue where, I didn't like and this was like this relationship here recently, but that I didn't like where she was working, you know what I'm saying? Because the place that she was working, I mean, she might as well have been a stripper, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just what they had to wear and everything like that. So I'm like, hey, I don't really like that job because I know and really for the most part, it's not necessarily that you don't trust her. It's I don't trust the people, and then, next thing you know, what you thought was going to happen ends up happening. So because of where they work or whatever, and because they're unloyal. So depending, like, it's just really them putting themselves in situations where they can be approached by men, and just pretty much, and be put in a situation where they would be like, oh, well, he just made me feel special, and then you're like, okay, what's that supposed to mean to me,
Yeah.
But really with everybody, I guess there's a fine line with like loyalty or what being loyal is on social media and what being loyal is on, because everybody sees I'm always the two people I post constantly, or the few people I post constantly are either the group that I'm rapping with right now or my brothers or family. Those are the two groups of people that people can really see that my loyalty is implanted into. So whenever you're going out and making it seem like if you're a woman, making it seem like you're single by posting this or posting that, or hit me up, like who's gonna hit you up? Like, if you want to talk, go talk to one of your girlfriends. Go talk, make friends. Go make
And that's
female friends.
That's the thing too. Is it's like when it comes to loyalty, in my personal opinion, if you're in a relationship, and if your girl feels like, oh, you're not giving her enough attention, or she doesn't feel loved by you, if you're a loyal woman, you're going to stay with that man. Even if he's not giving you all the attention you want or whatever happens to be, you're not going to go out and find somebody else who's going to be like, well, he, like you said, made me feel special.
Yeah.
It's like if you're loyal, no matter how things are going, if it starts getting rough, you're going to stay loyal. You're going to stay with that man. You're not going to go find somebody else, you know? And like Dad said, they do that thing where they have another thing set up, another man or whatever, like you call it monkey branching.
Well, you know, in the government, like in the U.S., if you're a traitor, if you're a spy, you get shot. Well, you get shot. I mean, so that's where loyalty lies there. So it's an important thing. And loyalty is something that is valued, and it just takes, it's like if you're out with your woman, or this is what I believe, nobody should be able to hurt her unless they go through you first. And that's what she has when she's with you, and that's the loyalty you provide. You're going to stand by her. As long as she's with you, she's going to be safe. And that's why these women sometimes are like, well, I'm out with my friends, so I'm out partying, but I'm not doing anything. It's like no man of high value wants, come sit down. Come on. Don't worry about it. We have a problem with the dogs here barking. No man of high value wants this woman out partying all night because she's unprotected, whether she's with her friends, because nobody's going to take care of her like a loyal man.
Yeah.
He'll put his life on the line. I've said it before. It's like if I'm here at home and I have a girl with me, we're upstairs, let's say she's living here and someone breaks in, I'm going to get up and go down there and see what needs to be done. I don't expect her to do it. That's a quality about men and women. If it was the way that a lot of women say it is, well, honey, why don't you go down and check that out? Or and this thing about who pays. If I take a woman out, I'm going to pay.
Yep.
It's just the way it is. I mean, it's just, that's the way if you're a man, you're going to pay. I hear people sometimes talk on social media, well, should I pay or should she pay? Or should I tell her to split the bill? To me, that's weak right there. Pay.
Yeah.
Pay for it.
Yeah. I've had in like a past relationship, though I'm not going to even lie, like really anytime, I really am not the type of person to go out. You know, I mean, I'll go out here and there, but really going out to eat is, to me, is kind of like a every once in a while kind of thing, you know, and she, you know, she was trying to go every night, and I'm like, shit, I'm not paying. I really wasn't paying for it. So she paid every single night. And really, to me, it was more of like, kind of like, we don't need to do this. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to do this. We need to save our money for better things. You know, at the time, things were going a bit different, but you know, like you said, for the most part, I mean, if I offer you to go out, you know, if I'm like, hey, let's go out, let's go do something, I'm asking you because I'm going to pay. I'm going to take care of everything.
You're the one asking to go out.
Yeah.
Paulina, now that you're back with us, thanks for joining us again. What is your idea of being loyal to your boyfriend? What does that mean to you?
Not texting other guys, like trying to, not cheating on him, like not going out with a guy behind his back, not texting other guys behind his back, not hanging out with anybody behind his back. Like everything's, you know, communication's key in a relationship. So usually I have to tell him where I'm, like I don't have to tell him, but I feel like it's right for me to tell him where I'm going if I'm going to hang out with a guy. And then, not like doing anything behind his back at all.
But you have guys hitting on you on social media when you have a boyfriend. I know you've had that, haven't you?
Yeah, I have, but I...
So how do you deal with that?
I don't entertain them. So, I mean, sometimes I open them, but I delete them right after. I never respond back to them. If it's like someone from school and they're texting me about something about school, I'm going to respond, but I tell him before I respond.
Yeah.
I ask him if it's okay that I respond to them or not.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But I was just thinking, I've seen you monkey branching. I see, because what happens to Pauline is she goes out with these guys and they start becoming weak and needy, and then she's like, she loses her attraction for them, and then she's got some other guy there that's interested in her, and a lot of times I'll see you talking to these guys before you break up with the other one. So that's a common thing among, I'm not saying it to make you feel bad, I'm not judging you. It's just something women do.
Yeah.
They always got somebody lined up before. Very seldom do you ever see a woman broken up and single for a long time. She's in a week or two. Guys are like, God, I can't believe she's got some already. Well, he was sitting there waiting for her in the wings. She knew the relationship was over a month or two before you even knew.
Yeah.
And she had something lined up before. And like I said, I think that's an evolutionary thing that they've had to do, because for thousands of years, if they didn't have a man, that meant death for them and their children.
And if really the thing about it is too, a lot of the times really most girls nowadays don't even really have to even have the little orbiters around them. They really can just go out and be with be with whoever
Because
they
they got
want.
guys waiting. I mean, there's
And
guys.
they're like everywhere, every corner. You know, anytime if a girl was to come up to a guy, almost any guy I know, and would be like, hey, and she's pretty attractive, you know, meets the standards that would I guess he would desire. If she was pretty attractive, she's like, hey, you want to sleep with me? Boom, they'd get a yes right off
All
the
they
bat.
have to do is say yes. A man actually has to put effort out to be with a woman. A woman. That's why if a man's with a lot of women, he's considered a stud or a Chad or Giga Chad.
Yeah.
But if a woman's with a lot of men, she's considered a slut.
Yeah, and that's the
That's
thing.
what women are afraid of, being called a slut. Now, I'm not saying it's fair, but that's just the way it is. That's the way society does it. So.
Yeah, and really nowadays too, along with that too, it's kind of like a lot of men make the mistake of not having their own little backups. You know, I mean, that's not necessarily about a backup, but you know, you just gotta make sure that you're good. You know, because you know, if you break up with somebody, I mean, really, and if you're a man of high status, it's not even about having a backup. You're gonna be able to just leave and go get with.
Well, a woman is always in the game. Here's what happened. Paul, for example, Paulina, if you have a boyfriend, you always got guys hitting on you, right? Whether you return
So
that or
proud.
not is another thing. But with a man, when he gets in a relationship, he's out of the game.
Yeah.
He may have a girl flirt with him once in a while, but a man is always, when he's single, he has to put out the effort at least to approach and to go out.
Well-
As where a woman is constantly getting approached. Go ahead.
Well, now in middle school, like, in every relationship I've been in, there's so many girls who text the person that I'm with. So, because they try to ruin the relationship by telling them rumors about me or something.
Women are so competitive.
Trying to make me seem like a really bad person. Like, oh my God, she's cheated so many times before. Like, you don't even want to be with her. Like, if I'm talking to a guy,
Haters.
and then
Yep.
he starts changing his mind a little bit. So the minute he starts changing his mind and I find out about it, I completely cut it off, because if you want to be with me, then you shouldn't listen to what another person has to say.
Right.
Has to say. So usually there's a lot of girls that text the person I'm trying to be with, like, oh my God. So I try to keep my relationship a little bit more low key than a lot of other people. A lot of
Yeah.
people like to post every single day, like post literally anything they do, like going to the beach, going to bed. Like, we don't care.
Sleeping.
Breakfast,
Sleeping.
lunch,
Yeah.
breathing together.
But you know, but that's the thing. At least they're posting about, you know, so then they're advertising their man as well. If they're advertising
Yeah.
themselves, you know.
So
I
that's
mean,
not necessarily as bad. Now, if you do it, I mean, as a guy, I've noticed that if you do it, you kind of lose the girl starts kind of losing attraction for you if you
because
just
that's
start.
more of a female thing to do,
Right.
really.
If you start showering her with.
Yeah,
with
Polly,
all
what do
this
you think when
affection.
your man puts you on Instagram? This is the love of my life. I don't
Smothers
know what
you.
I would do without her. How does that make you
My
feel?
whole world would end if it was.
I'll blow my brains out.
if you don't say with me, oh my god.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. I've gotten posted a couple times. I know I was viewing someone's story and he had posted his girlfriend and was like, happy 1 week, and I was like,
That's
no.
coming. Happy
Yeah.
happy 24 hours. You know.
You know, if a man talks about his future with his girlfriend, there's not going to be a future.
I
It's
was
not gonna be a
like, I
future.
was like, oh my gosh.
And I've made
next
almost
thing
every
you
mistake
know-
there is to make with
Next
women.
thing you know, they broke up like
Yeah.
a couple days later,
Yeah.
and I heard it was about him posting her way too much. And because he literally posted 1 week, like I get it if it's like maybe 1 month, 2 months, and not like every single month. But
Yeah.
I get it if it's like a month, but 1 week, that just it's.
When
just
you've had
kinda-
guys when you've broken up with them threaten to kill themselves, haven't you?
like
More than one, I think.
way more than one. So I know this guy I was talking to. He was like.
You zeroed them out. That's
I
why.
was like, I was like talking to him, and I'm like, I always make these like little threats, like, oh my God, I'm never gonna talk to you again, like as a joke, as a joke, and they'll be like, I swear to God, if you ever did that, I'm gonna blow my brains out. Why would you use that as a threat? And I'm like, it was a joke, and I have a lot of guys tell me like, if you break up with me, I'm gonna kill myself. Like today, my friend broke up with her boyfriend, and he posted on his story, guys, if I die, it's because of her. And he added her on his story, like he put her at. So everybody kept texting her like, why would you do that? Like, he's gonna kill himself.
And put her on the
And
spot.
then he
Yeah.
told her that he took like 15 oxy things, and
I had a buzz on.
and
didn't
then
he?
she was like, I'll get back together with you if you throw him up. He threw him up instantly, but he
Oh.
straight up posted, I'm homeless, and she just broke up with me. He's 14.
Okay, guys, that's way too much to put on a girl. You don't want to.
Yeah.
do
Yeah,
that.
'cause
It turns
then
them off. I
Then they
guarantee.
feel like really bad, and then they feel like they're peer pressured into getting
And
back
to
together.
give it, yeah.
And then it honestly makes the whole situation worse. Like I'm guilty of charge, but like the thing is, I've noticed that when you do that, you get your results right then and there. Like, oh yeah, fine, okay, I'll stay with you. You get the results that you wanted, and so you can walk around for 2-3 more days,
Right.
feeling like
Yeah, but-
everything's
yeah.
fine. But then 2-3 weeks later. And after those 2-3 weeks, you could, develop more feelings, the more time
Yeah.
goes by, and then you guys break up. And then, most of the time it does suck, but you're going to be okay.
You're better off just to act like you don't care.
And
Really.
really just, and the thing is too, don't stop what you were doing. Continue to go to work every day, put in more hours. Now that you have more time, being that you guys aren't hanging out all the time or whatever it might be, practice on your career, like you told us, your goal, So just, the thing about that is like, you cannot put that pressure. If you wouldn't want that kind of pressure on you.
I've had that before.
As a man, you can you can handle it. You can take care of it, and because you have no other choice sometimes. But you cannot put that pressure on anybody else, especially a woman. Really, it's just too much. It's really too much. It's overwhelming. They're
Right.
already thinking 1,000 things. Make them think like this. Make them think on this one thing, and just like I said, you get the results that you want right then and there. But in the long run,
Right.
it ends up making everything so much worse.
What's your thoughts on that, Frank? You're not saying much down there. We're talking about you losing. We're talking about sometimes how these guys threaten to kill themselves when they get zeroed out, and some guys actually do kill themselves.
Has
They get the
has a girl
one-itis.
done that to you before?
Ever said she was gonna end
I've had girls do it to me before.
Yeah,
Really?
I've
Threaten to kill themselves
I've been on the
for-
phone with a girl, and she's like, "Tell me why I shouldn't just crash this car into this wall right now." It's like
Oh, you
because
remember
you're
that
gonna be
one
okay.
Yeah, it's happened to me before. She's like,
Always talking about.
usually the person.
Oh,
like,
okay, yeah.
Oh, if you do this, I'm gonna go in deep depression and then I'm gonna quit.
I mean,
Did you tell her to take a Xanax, Frank? Is that-
no, they literally girls would be like, "I'm gonna carve my initials on my wrist."
Oh my God!
Like,
It reminds me of Cobra Chady. How many girls
Yeah,
did he
man,
get
like-
to put their
No, girls like
tattoos on?
actually at my school do that. Like they'll be dating somebody for a week, and then next thing you know, they post a picture of the person's initial, or they'll like write their name on their wrist. I'm gonna cut myself right here. And it's like,
yeah, God. Sometimes I'll get like if that happens, the girl will send me a picture of them like cutting their leg, and it's just like that's
Cutters,
so
huh?
attractive.
Yeah,
Like,
and-
I don't want to see that.
And the thing about
It makes me want to throw up. I don't like that.
the thing about that is too is like when they post that stuff on social media, what right then and there what they think they want is like just attention. I mean, or what they really want at the time is attention. So they post it, and then it's 1,000 people texting them, but it's not the guy that they want to text them.
See, the thing is, if they do something like that and they're dating you, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna start getting bashed up by all their
By
friends.
other friends, yeah.
But back to the loyalty subject. When it comes to loyalty too, it's like a lot of women will be more loyal to their work or their boss more than they
Exactly.
will be to their own man.
Yeah, they almost act like it's degrading to be loyal to their man, but yet they'll go to work early, they'll work late, they'll do everything they can to please their boss. But yet, if you ask them why they don't try to please their man, it's like, well, I don't have to please anybody.
Yeah.
When did that start? Like,
I don't know. I think it started in the women's lib movement in the 60s or something like that. We have 9 people watching and 4 likes. Smash that like button. Leave a comment. Put a comment in there. Well, if you have any questions, put them on there.
Really?
60s maybe, out of the women's lib movement and all that started.
I mean, really, but what is that like? In the long run, have they actually seen results? That's the
Yeah.
thing. Are you actually seeing the results that you thought you wanted? So really, in my opinion, it's kind of like the whole movement is kind of like one big international test on men by all women. Just to see if we're gonna be the man that they want us to be. Like you said, like very often, like more now than ever, there's rarely ever an actual man, there's not actually actual men around. So the way that you're raising us is really it's the same way that we're going to raise our kids to be men. You know, if we all have boys, which I imagine we will, we're going to raise them to be men just like our father did. You know, so that's the thing about it. You know, I guess really overall, when it comes to like back to the subject, you know, loyalty, it's really about different things. You know, is she being loyal to you or more to her work and her boss? Is she being loyal to you or more to her Instagram and social social followers?
Another thing too is they're more loyal to their friends than they are to you. And the thing is with that is like their friends tend to be more backstabbing than you would ever be. You know,
to them,
True.
they'll break up their boyfriend because the guy will make them choose between their friend or their boyfriend, and then their friend will go and screw her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend. You know, I've seen that
exactly,
a lot.
exactly. That's very common. You know, like a lot of the times, you know, after, for example, a girl gets out of a relationship, she'll find sometimes the same group of friends or a different group of friends. And she thinks that for that time being that they're holding her down and they're helping her out, but they're just influencing her to do things that are just making her worse.
And then at the same time too, they're going around. It's sometimes screwing their best friends or whatever happens to be their boyfriend, the one that they just broke up with.
Exactly.
You know?
And then that's they either do that or whenever you and her do break up and she needs them the most, they'll be like, oh, you're being too much, or they'll just stop being friends with her because she's being needy to them because she thought that they were going to be there for her whenever her and her boyfriend ended up breaking up.
Well, you asked me about I know when I was younger, the men, there was a lot of men that hung around with men. I don't see that much nowadays. We had, I know after work, when I was probably 16 years old, I went to work. And every night after work, there'd be 8, 10, 15 of us hanging around. Of course, we were standing around drinking beer, but and talking in the evenings. And even down the street, the older men were down there, 8 or 10 of them, they'd be hanging around and talking. So men actually got together with men and talked about man things.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of a verse of as iron sharpens iron, so man sharpens his fellow man. And the problem I see today is you don't have a lot of men hanging around with the young men showing them the way.
Yeah.
Now, the bright side is there's a lot of YouTubers out there that share manly concepts. But I also see in society that it's almost like masculinity is, what do they say, this toxic masculinity. Well, if it wasn't for toxic masculinity, we wouldn't live in this great nation we live today, because it took men, unfortunately, killing all innocent people too.
Yeah.
Other soldiers plus innocent people to maintain the freedoms we have today.
Yeah.
I mean, those are terrible things, but people don't realize there's a lot of terrible things that happen in war.
Yeah.
And it takes a man to do those horrible things.
Because he was loyal to his nation.
I mean, you drop a bomb on a city, men, women, children, innocent people are getting killed. And men are the ones flying those airplanes and dropping those bombs. So we could have the freedom we have today to come here and be in the U.S. and be able to do the things that we can do and speak our opinion and have our voice.
And that's really the thing too,
Now, that's loyalty right there.
Yeah,
those people were loyal, gave their lives, risked their lives, so we could be here doing this today. In some countries, you couldn't do this.
Exactly. But, you got to also think about it. Even just the citizens of, for example, the United States are still being, loyal to their nation by living here. You're taking a chance at, for whatever. Thank God now we have a bunch of different kind of protection. One of the best armies, I guess, in the world or whatnot. But, living and being loyal to the country that, beings that you're living in it, you're being loyal because you never know, like you said, when a bomb might drop. So you being the fact that you're trusting that, I think, that's also kind of a sign of loyalty, is you're trusting this country to keep you safe and to keep your, keep the fact that you can say whatever you want, some things with consequences, but you have a freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to love and like whoever you want now. So you're, beings that they're doing that for you, there is some sort of, I guess, like I said, loyalty, beings that you're being here and taking the chance.
Yeah, and another thing too is it's when it comes to family, loyalty with family, it's I know if something went down or if maybe a bomb was about to be dropped, you would do everything you could to protect us because we're loyal to you and you're loyal to us as well. Loyalty, it comes in all different types of forms of relationships and all stuff like that. But I know you would do everything in your power to sacrifice yourself to make sure we were okay.
Well, I don't think men don't get the praise they deserve these days. They're almost downgraded for their masculinity. But it's the loyalty of men who, how many men willingly died on the Titanic so the women and children could live? I mean, all back through the pages of history, men sacrificed their lives so the women and children could live willingly. They weren't forced to do it; they did it willingly.
Yeah.
Even today, if there was a situation, let's say a ship or whatever it happened to be, where they had to make the choice, the men would give their lives for the women and children. And I don't think men in society today are given enough credit for that trait that they have.
Well, I guess the reason why is because a lot of these men wouldn't actually give up their lives because they're not actually men. You know, they don't. You get a lot of these people like it's nowadays. You know, you don't get to talk to a lot of men because first of all, a lot of people fear just being a natural man because they're afraid they're gonna get pretty much slandered and hung publicly because they like a certain thing or like something that a man typically would like. So we don't have too many men around here. So the men that I talk to are you four. I always gravitate towards talking to you guys because I noticed that you guys are men. You guys are the men that I need to be talking to and need to be, if I want to speak about my feelings or whatever it might be, I come to you guys because and we talk about manly stuff all the time.
Yeah, and we're pretty loyal to each other, so you know that we're not going to go out and Mark's he's being weak, he's being upset. We're not going to go out and do that because the loyalty that we have between each other as family and brothers and having dad and everything, we're always going to be loyal.
Exactly. And
Paulina, what's your idea of a manly man?
Wait, what do you mean? Like,
What there's feminine men and then there's men that are more masculine. So what is your idea of a masculine man?
I want to compare the two. So, like, a feminine man is like someone who doesn't want to protect me. He acts like a girl.
Do you know some
Yeah,
guys
I know.
like that?
I know a lot.
have been
I know
interested
a
in
lot
you, or-
more feminine men than masculine men.
Yeah.
Or guys, I guess you could
And
say.
what do they? How are they feminine? What are the traits? Or,
They text like a girl. They use the emojis that you talk
yeah.
about. Like they use the emojis. They send a whole bunch of hearts and stuff, and they.
To show their emotions.
my
and how they
advice
feel.
to men is don't use. I've used them before, and I think it's too feminine. I do not use them anymore. And my advice to everyone would be not to use them if you're a man.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
usually it's a girl who talks about the future. The guy, like the guys that I've been with, usually talk about their future, that a date to marry.
Yeah.
I'm only 14. I'm not gonna. I mean, obviously, I don't know where it's gonna go because people have ended up from like a middle school relationship up to marriage
Right.
now, but things aren't the way that they used to be anymore. So like. A more masculine man is someone who I can trust to protect me, doesn't use emojis. Like, a little smiley face is okay, but
Yeah.
not the emoji smiley face. Like, you can make smiley faces out of these little these things.
the apostrophes
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
So, I'd rather have a guy do that than send me emojis.
What about a guy who like spills his emotions out as well? Like I'm talking like my day was just so bad, like
Yeah, I want to hear about your day, but I don't want to hear, like, oh my God, I'm so sad. Like,
you don't want to hear the bad part.
yeah, I don't want to hear the bad part. Like, I mean, you can tell me like a couple things that like made you mad, but not something that made you like really sad, where you just want to break down and cry.
Right.
Like, I'd rather hear, like, if you're angry and you need to like tell me that you're angry, that's fine. But if you're sitting there crying and you're like, call me please, like, I just want to tell you how sad I am right now. Like, I need somebody to talk to.
Have you experienced that?
Yes. So many
She's fed up.
so many times. It's so annoying though. Like if you really need somebody, the people that I've talked to, they have friends, guy friends that they can
Yeah.
go talk to. But if
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to them, they're like, okay, then I'll just go text another girl and go talk to them. It's like, okay, then you don't need me in your life. If you're just gonna go, like, say me and the guy are having problems, I wouldn't want the
Right.
guy to go text another female about the problems that we're having in our relationship, because then she can just be like, okay, then just break up with her.
Yeah.
And then the guy usually gets convinced to doing it. So it's kind of like, that's why I don't think a guy can have a girl best friend and a girl can have a guy best friend, because they'll both try to mess up their relationship.
All right.
All right, so about that,
Here we go.
about that whole guy and girl best friend thing. If a girl has a boy best friend and he goes ahead and tells his girlfriend, "Oh, I have a girl best friend," immediately it's different. That's different actually. Because if you have a girl best friend, she could talk so much stuff. Okay, it's the same thing for guys. Like,
Yeah.
but it's like guys know how other guys think, and girls know how other girls think. So if I had a girl best friend and she had a boy best friend, and she told me to drop the girl that I'm friends with, I would do it. But then if she's like, well, I'm gonna keep talking to this guy because he helps me a lot. Well, I'm here to help too. Like we're dating for a reason. Like
She needs to be leaning on you. You need to be a rock or mountain.
Yeah.
She doesn't need to have somebody else.
that's one of the reasons that like I don't do that whole date thing anymore because I'm not gonna put up with the whole he helps me through this stuff. Like, okay.
I see a lot of the stuff now, and I've seen this happen in person. They'll be like, let's say you're in the club and you're with your friend who's got a girlfriend, and his girlfriend has a boy best friend, and that boy best friend is actually at the club. You're gonna see them come up to each other, and the first thing that's gonna happen is that they're going to hug each other. He's going to hug her like he loves her, and I've seen this happen, and a lot of the times, because the girl has convinced the guy that it's different or whatever, and he just doesn't want to take the chance on losing her, he'll sit there like this. He'll just sit there and just watch as he picks her up and spins her around, and it's like, I've missed you. It's like, oh, okay, you guys are friends. It's like,
saying,
right.
I missed you too. I haven't seen you so long. But they've just seen each other.
Extended hug.
I see one of my exes had, as had guy best friends, and they were all gay. But still, they have the equipment. So it's like,
That's the thing, really. It's like a lot of the times I've seen a lot of people do this. Like, I don't recommend it or whatnot, but they say they're gay, sneak into the girl's sleepover, and then they're like, next thing you know, the next 2-3 days, he's straight now.
I think these guys were gay, but the point is they still have the equipment.
Yeah. So
it's
any
they're
really,
men.
yeah, anything could happen
Physically,
so.
anyway. So,
But I mean, really,
what do you guys think about? Can you be best friends with your wife or girlfriend? Because a lot of times guys will say, or men or women will say, well, she's my best friend or he's my best friend. Now, I'll give my opinion on that first. I don't think it's possible because, backing up to what Polly said, if I have a best friend, I can cry in front of him or be myself in front of him or share my fears. I can't come home to my wife or my girlfriend and tell her that I'm afraid I lost my job. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't feel like I can do anything. I feel like a loser. I can't tell her that because she'll lose faith and hope. I mean, but I can tell my best buddy, my best friend that, and he'll tell me, get up off my ass. Everything's gonna be okay. Get out there and do something.
Yeah.
You'll be okay. Just get up and do the next right thing. But she doesn't know what to do because she's been leaning on me as her rock and her strength. And I come home and I'm a broken man. I feel like a broken man. Yeah. So that's why I don't think.
I really don't think that you can be best friends. I think that there is, like, in the relationship, there's some sort of friendship. Like, there is some sort of friendship in there. Like, you can, like, I guess for simpler terms, you can be friends, but not best friends. Because your best friend is somebody, like you said, someone you lean on, someone that you go and you talk to. You like I said, someone's gonna, or like you said, someone's
maybe
gonna
the guy who knows everything about you.
Everything, and like almost every little detail.
You may know everything about him too.
Exactly.
He's your accountability partner, your confidence.
But
your best
that's
friend.
really like, best friends, and really my best friends are actually my brothers because I trust them the most to, hold down what I'm telling them. They know everything about me. I know everything about them. So, and like I said, but my friends, my regular friends, don't know everything about me. Right. They know pretty much the surface. I guess what makes us friends or whatnot, but they don't know what my best friends know. So like you can be friends to a degree, but you cannot be best friends with your partner.
Yeah, and I agree with that. You can't because
We'll get Pauline's opinion here in a minute. She's over there shaking her head. Okay, go ahead, Frank.
I don't think it's possible because at one point she's gonna like, you're treating me like a friend and not like your wife or your girlfriend. You're treating me like a friend. They'll break down, act way different than you think. So I don't.
They'll start disrespecting you most of the time.
Yeah,
Well, Paulina, let's get
come on.
your.
I think that they can.
How so?
Because like if it's like they can talk to you about anything except for like if they're crying and stuff. That's when you go to like
But that's
a
not talking
guy.
about everything.
But if he's,
But
if
no.
he's your best friend, he should be able to be himself and share his innermost
can-
feelings with
But
you.
that's like if I was upset, he's my best friend. He doesn't have to have me as his best friend, but I think he could be my best friend.
So yeah,
like
like
one-sided.
okay.
I agree
So
with that.
like
see that.
so I like it
Yeah.
to a degree, just like a friendship, but like almost kind of like I
It's
guess
like a
one-sided
it's a
friendship.
one-sided-
One-sided as far as friendship goes.
That's what I was
yeah.
saying.
Do you think
But-
that's fair?
Yes, I think that's fair.
Well,
But like,
I think it's really the
I
only way
think
it
so
would
too,
work.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he cannot express
I
his
thought you
feelings.
guys were saying like, oh, that neither of them can be each other's best
I mean,
friend.
well, no. Until you said that,
Yeah,
That's
a
yeah,
different
it's,
point of
it's
view.
like
Yeah,
more
I agree
of a
with what you're saying.
one-sided best friend like relationship. It's like it's the guy is the girl's best friend, but the girl isn't the guy's best friend. So
So-
it's one-sided.
Yeah,
So
that
he's
makes
so
sense.
you're allowed to open up to him, but as soon as he opens up to you, it's a turn off. Right
Yeah.
off.
Yeah,
right
Yeah,
off.
it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
women don't like it. You may get by with it once. But
Yeah.
if you do it more than that, they just don't.
Yeah.
You know,
And why do we think that is?
It's an evolutionary thing
Yeah,
because men have
yeah.
been strong and they need the man to be strong and survive. Now, today's society, of course, is different because we have all these safety nets. But for thousands of years, we didn't have these safety nets.
Yeah.
If that man was not strong enough, this woman would not survive. You go back 150 years ago and during the Civil War, Wild West, or whatever back then, and you're out on the prairie, that man's got to be strong. She's dependent on him for everything.
Yeah,
And-
but at the same time, some girls are always like, "Why don't you open up to me?"
Yeah.
Well,
but that's
yeah, they want that, they think, but then when a man does it, they're like, ew. They
And
don't
that's the thing too.
Yeah, yeah.
Incredibly different when you actually do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the thing is too is it's like you said, women have like safety nets and stuff like that, but you can't change like what 100-something years of how peaceful we've
Thousands
been
of
living.
years
Yeah.
of evolution. You can't
Yeah, you
change
can't
that
change
with
that, yeah.
60 years of fem or whatever
Yeah.
women's liberation.
Yeah.
That's another
And equality
That's
and all
another
this.
thing of like a feminine guy is trying to like pour out your emotions to a female. So it's not more of like a masculinity thing. So like it's kind of not like the minute they show weakness, but if they show weakness towards me, I'm gonna think like, oh well, maybe they can't protect me as much as they actually.
So
say.
you don't feel as safe with a man who's more in his feminine
Yeah,
than
no.
his man. We have equal part. We each have a feminine and a masculine side. I've sometimes been too much in my feminine and sometimes maybe too much in my masculine. But to have polarity in a relationship, the man in general, I'm not saying there's not exceptions, needs to be in his masculine. There has to be a balance of femininity and masculinity. And the man that is masculine and the woman that is feminine, then the relationship can work. But when you have a woman too much in her masculine, and if you have a man that's in his masculine too, then there's this constant friction going on there.
that's I did
And
agree
if a
with that.
woman's been raised up without a father, she's maybe had to take on the masculine role, so it's difficult for her to submit or cooperate. I know a lot of women don't like that word submit or serve a man, but a woman, well, there's nothing wrong with a woman serving a man because in contrast, or however you would say it, the man serves the woman. They both serve each other. If she stays home, takes care of the kids, or whatever she does, she serves him. He serves her and the family by going out and working and providing. So a lot of women, I've heard them say, they think, well, that's like being a slave. Well, in my opinion, he's just, if you look at it in that respect, he's as much of a slave as she is because he's going out and providing everything for the household. It's a servant. It's servitude is what it is. They each serve each other. And when they both serve each other reciprocal, when they both reciprocate evenly, then the relationship works.
Yeah, like go ahead.
Paulina?
Oh, well, the thing with like the girl saying they're being a slave, I honestly like them saying like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be a slave for anybody.
Have you heard that?
Yes, a lot. I hear it from my friends and I also see it on TikTok or
And
on
that's
someone's
what they're
story.
promoting nowadays.
Yeah.
The media is like it's slavery or something.
Yeah, and I feel like it's like, I guess you could say they both evenly are slaves or whatever, but
Yeah, if you want to use that word.
yeah, but
Servants, I think, is a better way to say
yeah,
it.
but the thing is though is the guy's probably doing more work because if he gets a good job, like say he's like you guys go out and paint for how many hours do you work a day?
As little
Yeah.
as possible.
You
No.
guys, you guys work like 8 hours a day, and usually if she can keep the house clean like very often and stuff, she could just clean it up a little bit as much as it needs to be clean, and then she's allowed to relax. Like if she's done
Right.
everything around the house, then she can relax. but she'd probably finish before the guy got done with work. So I
Right.
feel like it's more hard for a guy to go and provide for the female than
Mm-hmm.
it is for a girl to stay home and clean.
Well, until you have kids, then it
Yeah.
becomes a 20. See, and that's an admirable career right there. Staying home with the kids. That is a 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week job, and it doesn't get the respect that it should get
Yeah.
for a woman. It's actually downgraded. Like, well, you don't work. There's no days off. There's no sick days. And what more admirable career could a woman have than raising kids, which are the future of America anyway?
Yeah, and just
Got
really.
the cat in there.
Okay,
You're-
so I have a question.
Go ahead.
So would you equal a stay-at-home mom with kids to a man who goes out and works 8-9 hours a day to come home?
I would say it's the same. There's no. Yeah, I would say it's equal. I would say actually, I would disagree with what Paulina said. I would say the woman who stays home and takes care of the kids and the house works more than the man. Like more than I work. I get up in the morning 6 o'clock. I'm working sometimes till 9:30, 10 at night. I would say she works more than the man because who gets up in the middle of the night? Who feeds the baby? I mean, like your mother, she breastfed you guys, so she was. I mean, it's a 24-hour day, 7 days a week. And as I said, it's not given the credit and the admiration that it should get. It's downplayed, telling women they need to go out and work. And that is more, that's a hard job.
I
It's
was
almost
saying
it's
somebody
almost
without
frowned
kids.
upon almost.
It is, yeah. What's that,
I
Paul?
was saying like someone without a kid, like not a mom. I was
Okay,
saying,
but
like, a
even
typical
without a kid,
relationship.
now maybe without a kid it's not quite as much, but still in all, her being in the house all day and cooking and cleaning, if she's doing all that, she may want to have a
constant
part-time
maintenance,
job.
you know?
Yeah, it's not as big a job as it used to be because we have so many modern appliances now. But still, it's an admirable job for her to take care. What a lot of women don't realize is by her serving the man or playing her part in the relationship that way, it empowers the man to be able to achieve more. And a high value man achieving more, guess what that rains down on? It rains down on her. She benefits from that. And I think that's what people have forgotten. A woman compliments a man. And if she compliments him, then he will, a man will take care of a woman like that. I mean, she doesn't have anything to worry about. Now, like we said, a woman will go out and give her everything for a job or career, and after 20 years, they're done with her, whatever it is. And then, but with a man that a high value man will value a woman like that. Now that's a rare find because most women aren't raised up or trained, or they have no idea how to. And like you said, Mark, they're almost taught that that's a degrading thing to think about doing, to serve your man.
And I don't really even understand that because it's like
But that's loyalty in itself,
Yeah.
to serve your man. Just like it's loyalty to her, to him to get up every day and go out and work. And a man is almost just expected to do that. It's
Yeah.
not like he's praised for it. That's his job. It's not like he's doing anything. I didn't get thanked hardly at all the many years that I was married for doing it, and I didn't expect it. That's what I'm supposed to do as a man. That's my job, to
Yeah.
provide and protect for the family, and that's the way I serve my wife.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
So my next question is, do you think a 50-50 relationship could eventually turn out to be a marriage, or would it just fade out?
What do you mean by 50-50? I have to
50-50
clarify
as in-
that.
so like 50 on bills, 50 on everything, like so you're talking 50 on bills, 50 on I guess like
You both pay
you both like when it comes to bills, when it comes to like food or whatever it may be, like so technically relationship that's 50-50. The woman is doing 50% of the work and the guy's doing 50% of the work.
I'd say financially that would work. You could do that, but emotionally and relationship-wise, I
Yeah.
don't know.
No,
how-
that's the thing. That's the thing. A lot of people get that twisted. So
what
they-
about when she wants to have a kid? See,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
she's almost all women are going to eventually want to have a child. Okay, and then he's going to have to pick up the slack, which as a man, that's his job. So I don't see, unless you never had children, the financial part of a 50-50 relationship. I don't know how that would work.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing more vulnerable than a woman who's had a child. She can't go to work. And that child needs their mother. That child doesn't need to be put in daycare. I think they're trying to get, what is it called, maternity for how many weeks after she has the baby now. And then there again, this is why probably some employers don't want to hire women because, as opposed to a man, and they also sometimes women will complain because they don't get paid the same as a man does. Well, men are the ones that are usually working until 8 or 10 o'clock. They're putting in more hours. They're doing the high-risk jobs. They're doing more. That's the difference. Now, I think if a woman does the same as a man, she should get paid the same.
Oh,
if
yeah,
she
for
does
sure.
more, she should get paid more. But in general, the men are the one doing the high-risk jobs, the high-risk work, and putting in the long hours and the extra effort. Women are just not as goal-focused in that direction. Now, there are exceptions, of course, but in general, that's the way men and women are.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, that's really, I guess, really, that's overall like the thing is just understanding that, and it's nothing bad. It's like a lot of people make it seem like it's such a bad thing now, but it's nothing bad that, you know, women and men are built completely different and for completely different roles. We have roles. We were put on this planet with, you know, our own roles, you know what I'm saying? So, and I don't get why, like, it's became such a big deal to have to play
Because
your
we
role.
have too much time on our hands. I think.
Yeah.
Things are issues now that wouldn't be issues
That
if
wouldn't
we were
be.
involved in a war and you guys were being sent off,
Yeah.
God forbid, to war because you're right
Yeah.
at that age.
It's
So
also, I feel like it's also options too. Like a girl doesn't have to do 50-50. Like she could just easily go outside or go on the internet and just find someone who won't do 50-50
Yeah.
with her.
Who will just like immediately give it.
Yeah,
out.
give her
But the
everything
thing
just
is,
because.
like,
yeah, that's true.
he can go ahead and whoever that guy might be can go ahead and do that. But she just is not gonna have what you are giving her, like emotionally and mentally. You know, so what's all the money and what's being, I guess, taken care of? Like if you could give her all the money, but if someone breaks into your house and you're scrawny as shit, that money ain't gonna protect you. You know.
Yeah.
So you know, and really, yeah, you might have security, but even then, that still might turn her off because you're not directly the one that's going out and putting yourself on the front line, you know, kind of making sure. But being that you are providing the money for, if you have security, that might make up for that, you know.
Well, we think too much here in the U.S. that money is the answer to all our problems. We're such a materialistic society, we don't realize there's so many other variables in a relationship that really have nothing to do with money. Money is important, of course, and I like money as much as anybody, but it's not the only. Although in relationships, they say most of them break up. I don't know what the percentage is, but it's pretty high because of financial difficulties. But then there again, the man needs to provide, and if the woman supports the man, you know, a woman for a man can be an anchor or she can be a sail. She can be the wind behind your wings, so to speak, or she can weigh you down like an anchor. And I've had both, and I've lost everything a couple times because I've had a few anchors.
Yeah,
But that was my fault for not vetting them properly. Once again, the man is the leader. It's his responsibility to lead the relationship.
Yeah, and really, you know, if it wasn't for a lot of men wanting to do the whole 50-50 thing, which, you know, I've experimented with, I guess, if you want to say, but if you were bringing in all the money yourself and you were paying for all the bills, a financial argument amongst both of you wouldn't even be a thing. You know, it wouldn't even really come up, you know. That, and like you said, a lot of relationships end nowadays because of financial difficulties. So, like, whatever that may be, you know, if someone's spending a little bit too much money, whatever that may be, you know, if you were bringing in the money, being the man you were supposed to do, and paying everything as long as she was, you know, like you said, being the wind underneath your wings or whatnot, then that wouldn't be an issue, you know what I'm saying? So, but a lot of guys nowadays will try to do the 50-50 thing, and it just rarely works.
Yeah, well, if you look up statistically, marriages and relationships usually don't work if the woman's making more money. Now, I don't know why that is, but it just doesn't work well.
I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah, honestly, I see that.
So how would you feel, Paula? Would you want to make more money? How would you feel? Or do you want your husband or boyfriend or whatever it happens to be to make more money than
I
you?
want them to make more money than me because I'm not going to be able to. I wouldn't want 50-50 like you guys were talking about. I'd want him to work. I'd want me to stay home. I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to.
Of course, a lot of
make
people would
money.
say I'm probably programming her, but maybe I am. I'm teaching her the old-fashioned way.
It's
yeah.
just, yeah, it's kind of just the way you guys have raised me. It's more normal to me than other people because other people were raised a lot different than me because, you know, I'm the only girl in the house and there's just a whole bunch of guys. So I think it's right for me to treat a man, like cook and clean for him while he's gone at work, because that's what I do with you guys. Like,
Oh, I can just
while
hear
you
him now.
guys-
She's a slave. They're programming her to be a
programming
slave.
her.
When you
But,
guys-
but what I tell you as a father is, if you do that, then he needs to be taking care of you. To find a man who's going to take care of you, you take care of him, he'll take care of you. And I would be the first one to say, look, if your husband's coming home and sitting on the couch drinking beer every evening, that's you
Probably
need to do something.
Do something, yeah.
So, like when you guys are at work, like it gets pretty tiring, you know, having to clean before 3. But I still do it. Like I still clean as much as I can, and I usually make like steak for you guys. Like if we have like burger meat or steak, I usually make it for you guys before you guys get home. Whether you guys are gonna eat it or not, I would still make it for you because I know somebody would eat it.
And that's the thing too, is it's like when you do stuff like that, you can. Dad buys you DoorDash. He gets you stuff
Exactly.
you want. You know,
I
from-
want to do things for her. And that's the way it works in any kind of relationship. When someone gives, the other one wants to give. It should be a reciprocal relationship. And too many times, what we have nowadays, seems to me, is we have these simps. And what I've experienced being the man after the simps with the girl is that the girl expects you to give, and then she doesn't actually know how to give back. She doesn't know how to reciprocate. Because she's so used to guys giving and not expecting anything back. We have this thing where we say, well, love demands nothing in return. Well, I think we should give and love freely, but in a relationship, you need to be aware of what's coming back to you. What a person says is not near as important as their actions. You judge them by their actions. If the girl loves you, or if the man loves you, he's going to be reciprocating. Like we do when you do things around the house. I know we want to do more things for you. And it's kind of like a snowball rolling down the hill, but in a good way, a good respects in this deal.
I don't think I'd care if people are like, oh, they make you do that so you think it's okay. It is okay. There's nothing wrong with it. You guys aren't like beating me, telling me, oh,
Yeah,
you
nobody's
clean the
forcing you
kitchen.
to do it.
Go clean the kitchen right now, or I'm gonna.
That's the thing.
Don't tell them I made you sleep out in the shed.
That's the thing.
That was a
That's-
joke.
That's the thing. We don't have a shed. That's
we
the
don't have a
thing. That's the thing about it, though. You know, like you said, it's okay. You know, it's fine to do that kind of stuff because at the end of the day, she's receiving as much as she is giving. You know, and like you said, and the one thing amongst all of us that our favorite line is, there's always another option. You know,
Right.
You don't have to. You know, it's
Exactly.
like you are not being forced to stay or do this or do that. You don't have to.
It's
at
like
all.
it's like when you guys tell me I don't have to. Like you will usually say you don't have to, but don't ask me for anything, because then if I'm not doing something for the stuff that I ask you for, there's no reason for you to get it from me because I'm not providing.
You're not providing.
I'm not doing anything.
Exactly.
So that's what goes through my head is like, okay, well, if I don't clean and I want something, there's a possibility that I'm just not going to get it at all because I'm not doing anything for anyone. So I think it's okay for a girl to clean. I think it's okay for a girl to have a husband and stay home and clean because it's just the way I was raised. And I'm glad I was raised that way because if I didn't get up and do stuff during the house, I'd get fat. I'd get really, really fat. And I just wouldn't be happy with myself. So.
Well, I think most women want to find a man, they want to get married and have a family. I
for
think
sure.
but most of them, or it seems that a lot of them don't know how today because they're not raised to be a wife. It's amazing how they'll go to college and get their PhD or their master's and this and that, but yet none of them will take the time to train to be a wife and to be a mother to your kids.
Yeah.
It's just not something that's taught. But in the other respect too, the men need to learn how to be men also, and they need to find a man that's successful or had experience with the relationships to find out and to learn how to have a relationship with the woman. Because I know as a man, I've made this mistake myself. You think that all you have to do is go out there and work and you're providing the house and all that, and you come home and you sit down and that's it. That's all you have to do. But as a man, you need to continue to do the same things to a certain extent after you're married or after you get your girlfriend or whatever that you did when you were dating. So many men just forget about all that and they just
Like you told us last podcast, you know, it's like you got to constantly be dating your wife or your girlfriend. You know, you got to constantly be dating her. You got to
Right.
constantly almost, you know, like just like you said, you can't come home and they'd be like, oh, I deserve this beer, you know, and sit there and just get fatter and fatter and fatter as you go, because that will happen even if you are working, you know, and then you lose attraction. There's no mystery. You're coming home every night doing the same
Right.
thing. Like, you know, it's getting boring. So, yeah, that's kind of, yeah.
We need to take care of ourselves too. So many people get married and I think, well, I don't have to look pretty anymore, or I don't have to stay in shape. I don't have to go to the gym anymore. And it's like they just kind of they disrespect themselves, and they start wondering why their wife or their husband don't respect them.
Like, he should love me for who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, there's certain men are attracted visually, and women are attracted by inner strength.
Inner strength. Yeah.
Henry,
of
do you
course.
want to say something?
I got something to say about an old
Go ahead.
topic we were talking about. I witnessed firsthand what happens when the power dynamic gets messed up. When a woman makes more money than her man, the power dynamic completely goes down.
Yeah. That's
Completely goes downhill. I just want to know. I just want to hear everyone's take on that.
Yeah, that's really the thing too. Like once you start making more money, and I really think it's like because like deep down in your mind, you know, you're like, man, I should be making this money, and deep down in her mind, she's thinking, oh man, he should be making this money. So that's where that kind of just completely comes down to
Well, also
it.
if she's making more money, then she has more say. So she starts leading, and it does not work. At least in my experience and what I've studied and read, and other people's experience, the woman doesn't want to lead.
No.
So when she makes more money, she's in a position of leadership, and the man actually feels too like, well, I can't say she's got the money, so.
And that goes back to kind of like the thing you said where like you can't come home and, you know, if, for example, one of the things is, I thought about this quite a bit like the other day, but, you know, a lot of guys will be getting heavy themselves and then be getting mad that their wives are getting heavy. Yeah. Well, if you get up and work out, even after a hard day's work, she's bound to follow because you're leading. You're leading. So by example. So, you know, the moment that you're like, oh man, she's getting out of shape. Well, first of all, look, like, you know, in most cases, you got to look at yourself and be like, oh, I'm getting out of shape too. I'm just going to start going to the gym, even if I am tired after work. And next thing you know, she'll start doing yoga. She'll start doing this while she's at home after she's done cleaning. And then both of you are in good shape, you know, like, so you got to lead. You have to lead. You can't just.
Most women will only lead when they're put in a position where they feel like they have to. And then they resent the hell out of you because they're having to lead. It's not the position they want to be in.
Yeah, usually when a girl leads, she just finds somebody else who's going to lead.
Who's going to be strong enough to lead her. She doesn't want to do that.
That's usually why people have affairs, like what we talked about last podcast. A girl's not going to want to lead. She'll just find somebody else who's better than the person that they're with, and she'll probably do it behind her, like the boyfriend or the husband's back for a while, and then right after the husband or the boyfriend break up, like after they break up with each other or get a divorce, she'll go straight to that guy. She won't even care. So, and usually females don't care when there's a divorce because she gets like half of his stuff or whatever.
Right.
So she usually doesn't care. So she'll find somebody else who can lead, and then she'll wait, or she'll just do it behind the other person's back.
Well, Claude, what do you think? You think a woman wants to lead, or do you think the man should lead, or what's your opinion?
Honestly, I think the man should lead. I mean, how you were talking about how the women are supposed to stay home and take care of the kids. I think that's honestly.
Well, I'm not saying they all have to stay home and take care of the kids. I think, you know, some. It just depends on. But if we have kids, I think that works best for the children. Go ahead.
I don't know. Honestly, I just think that as a man, you're the one that's supposed to be leading. You know, you're supposed to be making more money, and you know, I mean, you're the one who's supposed to be providing. You're the provider. So I think,
the provider and the protector.
Yeah.
There's a lot of women would argue with, you know, it doesn't make any difference, but I believe it does make a difference.
I don't know.
Henry?
Yeah, I feel like a man should definitely lead, and he should be the leader of the household, no matter, you know, what it is. I mean, like you said, there are some exceptions and stuff like that, but I feel like a man should provide and protect, and whatever happens to be, you know. So that's it.
Frank?
I'm gonna go with Henry on that one. 'Cause I mean, I'm not even thinking about it right now. Like, I don't really have my own personal opinion on it.
Okay.
Yeah, because we were talking about. I was thinking about how we were talking about loyalty and all that, and I was thinking, okay, like, you know, girls have like girlfriends and all that. If you want to go out, well, obviously I'm gonna go out. But here's the thing, I'm like, as a man, we all know to be loyal. Like, obviously I'm gonna be loyal, But the thing is that it's a little harder to trust a woman to be loyal if she's hanging out with her girlfriends and going out. So
True.
if you're gonna go out, you can go out, but you can go out to my house. And if they're like, and if they're at home and they're like, well, that's pretty much just basically me being at home, kind of, but you're still out of the house.
Here's
you
what they're
know?
gonna lay on you. Well, you gotta trust me, honey. You gotta. It's all
like
about trust.
if you want to go out with your girlfriends or you want to hang out with them, you could stay home and tell them to come over. But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have you go out. I mean, I can go out, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna come home to you and I'm gonna be loyal.
And like you said, they want to run you got to trust me. It's like, I do trust you. I don't trust the people or the situation.
Who's protecting
you
her
might
when
be
she's out there?
in. Exactly.
See, there's nobody. I
and
know
it's-
my ex used to say, well, I got my gay guy friends. They'll take care of me. I'm only with people who will take care of me. But I heard stories of dangerous situations. She didn't know that I knew that she got into where she could have gotten hurt. So, and a man wants to know that his woman is safe and protected. And he knows if he's with her, she's safe and protected. But he knows if he's not with her and she's out partying, who knows where, half the night doing whatever, he doesn't know if she's safe or not.
Yeah.
And I have to believe that a lot of times a man can be a little more logical about things than a woman can. And it's just in general, not, women are more emotional and sometimes they just have a hard time
Yeah.
thinking logically.
Yeah, they're more
especially-
emotionally driven.
Yeah,
and-
exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
So my next question is loyalty more logical or emotional? Which
I think it's
comes
a
more into-
logical choice.
It's because it's like you said, like a logical choice.
You
know?
may feel loyal, but you have to make a decision to act loyal.
to make logical decisions. To be loyal.
And sometimes that loyalty comes down. I know there's been times when I was out living in a different country where I had to step in front of my wife because I was loyal to her to protect her. I would give my life for hers because that's just the way it is. That's loyalty because it's just what you got to do as a man, I think.
See, and the thing is that you can tell me you're loyal, but I want to see action. I want to see you showing me you're loyal.
Don't tell me, show me.
Exactly.
They say actions speak louder than words.
Of course.
So,
Yeah.
So I'd rather see you showing me actions of you being loyal. You can tell me you're loyal,
Yeah.
but I want to see more action.
It's like saying I got $1 million. It's like, show me.
Well,
You know?
if a woman is loyal to you and she knows you don't like her out partying all night or talking to all these other guys, she's going to want to stop. You're not going to have to make her or tell her or control her. You're going to say, look, I don't like that. Stop it. And she'll stop. Now, a lot of women will say, well, that's controlling. No, she can walk away from the relationship.
Of course, there's always
That's
that
it.
option.
It's not like you're forcing her. If you want to be my girlfriend, this is what I want.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing hidden. You don't hide your phone from me. I don't hide mine from you.
Exactly.
That's another thing. A lot of people won't show their phones. They keep their phone locked.
There's
know,
so
but
many
they-
like videos of just like dudes taking their girlfriend's phone and locking themselves in their car
Yeah.
and let me in the car, give me my phone back.
Yeah, what's the deal there? What are they hiding? I
It,
mean,
at that point, just give it up and give her up. You need to go,
yeah, I
But-
mean, if they're that afraid of you seeing the phone,
yeah.
then that means they're hiding something.
Yeah.
They got their orbiters on there that they're keeping on the line with a few words here and there. So, and that's a common thing, and it's easier now because we have the social medias.
Yeah.
Where before they would have to go somewhere or actually get a ringing telephone
Yep,
call.
exactly.
So-
Yeah.
And another question I have is the orbiters okay when it's just a girlfriend, or is it? And it doesn't become okay when she becomes a wife, or is it?
No,
okay?
or-
I don't think it's
So-
okay anytime
At all.
because those are backups there. and-
Orbiters only come when the girl's in a relationship. So like obviously there's always gonna be guys like floating around her, but like
Right.
specifically orbiters come when they're in a relationship.
They're waiting for the day, and they're going to hack anything. If she comes crying to them about something, they're going to try to beat
fuel
you
it up or
down just to
something.
get her because they're just waiting for the day when she realizes how wonderful they are, and they're going to live happily ever after. They're only there for one thing. They're there because they want her.
Because they want her, yeah.
That's what they want. So they're actually a detriment to the relationship.
Yeah.
They undermine the relationship.
Yeah, they do, yeah. Loyalty, folks. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that's about all we have for today. Thanks for joining us. We'll be here again next Saturday night at 7 p.m., and I'll let you know what the topic's going to be.